Well, I'm here today with Matt Kreitzer, who is a candidate for family court judge. You are currently a magistrate, correct?
Yes.
All right, so let's first of all have you introduce yourself to folks who are watching right now. Tell them a little bit about your background, where you're from, that kind of stuff.
Okay. My name is Matt Kreitzer. I am currently the Chief Magistrate at the Stark County Family Court. I'm originally from Minerva. I graduated from Minerva High School in 1991. I live in Canton now. I've been living up here since 2013. I just live 3.7 miles up the road. Um, I went to Kent State University. I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice studies with a minor in paralegal. And then because of a internship that I did during the paralegal program, I decided to go to law school because originally I had planned on going into the FBI. But that internship program allowed me to see the practice of law and meet some attorneys and go to court and just see that. And I really enjoyed that. So that's when I decided to go to law school. And I went to the University of Akron, and I got my law license in 2004 and started out in private practice in 2004.
So, what's the difference between a magistrate and a judge?
The primary difference is, well, judges are elected for 6-year terms, and magistrates are attorneys that the judges hire to help conduct hearings and run the docket. Because we have over 10,000 family court cases filed every year, but we only have 3 judges. So the judges have to hire attorneys to help conduct hearings because they can't handle all those hearings. So what we do in the courtroom is basically the same. I have my own courtroom. I wear a robe. I conduct hearings and trials and take evidence. I issue orders and rulings and decisions in those cases, just like a judge does. One of the other main differences is the judges are responsible for all the decisions about the operations of the court, the personnel, the procedure, the programming, the finances, those sorts of things. I don't have to make those decisions as a magistrate. I get to sit in on those discussions because I'm the chief magistrate, but I don't make those decisions, even though I'm familiar with that area of the judge's responsibility.
Did you choose family court for a reason?
Well, yeah, whenever I went to law school, I went because I enjoyed what I saw from the practice of law, and I knew that I wanted to help people. I wasn't exactly sure what that meant. So whenever I started out in private practice, I was doing everything that came in the door, but I was over in Columbiana County at that time. And some of the work that I did was family law related and custody and divorces and things like that, and I enjoyed those things. But when I started working at the Stark County Public Defender's Office on February 5th of 2007, I got to go in the Stark County Family Court and start working with children and families on delinquency actions. When children are charged with breaking the law, I would represent them, and I would represent parents in dependency, neglect, and abuse cases, those child protective services cases. And the work just really connected with me because growing up, I was my biological father was never involved in my life. It was me, my mom, my brother, my sister, and my stepfather. My stepfather was a domestically violent, abusive alcoholic. So substance abuse issues and domestic violence was something I experienced or witnessed on a daily basis almost. So having that background, growing up in poverty because neither of my parents worked, we've struggled with all the same things: with food insecurity, housing insecurity, utilities insecurity, clothing insecurity. I could really relate to a lot of the families that I was working with, and to see all of the connections that the family court has in the community to try to get services to those families. It really made me want to stay in the family court and work in the Stark County Family Court. And that's why I haven't left there since.
So pretty personal for you then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could imagine. Because family court judge is, as a reporter, I've sat in on a lot of trials that are not trials, but hearings that are more extensive. Some of the harder hitting cases of kids. It's tough. That's a tough situation. It's hard to hear, and I would imagine it has to be hard to decide or to figure out.
It is, and there's a lot of complexity to the different types of family law cases. I've been a magistrate now for 10 years. I've done more than 12,000 family court cases since I took the bench, and that experience certainly helped in making those decisions. Plus, I think that my background, growing up the way I did, Also gives me a sense of empathy and compassion on the bench for a lot of these types of cases. And honestly, I think it helps me be able to compartmentalize things so that I am able to deal with the difficult cases, but not necessarily take them home and not be able to sleep at night because of the things I've heard. There have been some cases that have been like that, but generally I'm able to compartmentalize things, and I think that also helps too for my mental health.
Yeah, I would imagine it would have to be like because it is personal for you too, so that would be something that might stick with you. But and in recent years, it has changed a little bit, where judges, their political party is known. How do you feel about that?
Well, so on the ballot, they've decided that the Supreme Court and Court of Appeals, there would be a party designation on the ballot. For the Court of Common Pleas, which is what the family court is,
Mm-hmm.
in the municipal court, they don't put the party designation. But the top two questions I've got, because I ran for family court judge in 2022, and I started campaigning in April of 21, and I basically have not stopped because this seat that I'm running for this year is the seat I planned on running for back then. I was just gearing up to get ready to run, but then I had an unexpected run in 2022. But in all those years of campaigning, the top two questions I get are, what's my qualifications and what's my party?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very important issue for people.
Yeah.
So I didn't put any information about my party on my campaign materials in 2022 election. But this year, my campaign committee felt that I should. So I contacted the Supreme Court and Ohio Board of Professional Conduct to see if there were any kind of violations of any ethical rules or anything relating to judicial candidates, and they said that it was not an issue. So I'm giving people the option to have signage in their yards that says my party or doesn't say it. And most people seem to be choosing the signage that says what my party is, which is the Republican Party. When you're on the bench, you don't think about that.
Right. I think that's
really,
very interesting. Yeah.
when you're sitting there trying to apply facts of a case to the law, you're not thinking about what your political party is. In fact, I don't think anybody even knew what my political party was up until I started campaigning,
Mm-hmm.
because you shouldn't be able to go into a courtroom, a classroom, or any other professional setting and tell what somebody's political party is, but especially a courtroom.
Right.
So I think I've done a good job of keeping politics out of the cases in the court. And I think our court in general does that very well, because I don't know the political affiliations of most of the people that are in our court, because it doesn't matter to our judges.
Right.
So,
Right. I agree. Yeah, that was one of the things that always struck me. I never really thought, why that was necessary. I see why in the higher courts, maybe. Some people feel it's important, but that's very interesting. I guess it's just the day and age or the time that we live in.
I think so.
So, one final pitch to the folks that are listening right now or watching right now. Why should they vote for you?
Well, the decisions that we make in the family court, we're deciding people's decisions about people's children, about their families, about their property, about their debt, about their finances, about their retirement, about their parental rights. And these are oftentimes very difficult and complex decisions. And you really only learn the impact of those decisions by having experience. And like I said, I've been on the bench for 10 years making those decisions right now. I would be able to step right into the role of judge on day one, because whoever takes that position on January 2nd of 2025, there's already trials and hearings scheduled on that judge's docket. So they're going to have to be prepared to do it from day one. The great thing about coming up as a magistrate is you have a chance to learn, one, what it means to be a judge, which is completely different from being an attorney. And two, you get to learn the areas of law that maybe you're not that familiar with and what the impact of your decisions are going to be. Because I had 10 years of family law experience before I took the job as a magistrate. And once I took that job as a magistrate, I still felt like I didn't really know what I was doing. But you get to learn those things as you're coming up as a magistrate, because your schedule can be tailored so you don't have really difficult cases and really difficult hearings as you're getting your feet under you. But when you're a judge, you don't get that luxury. You are the one that people will come to when they have questions about the law, when they have concerns. Attorneys come to you all the time about procedural things, And you have to be prepared to make decisions about people's children and their families and all of the other difficult decisions from day one. You get the most difficult cases, you get the high dollar divorces, you get the most contentious cases, you get the cases with the high press. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get to get the easy cases, you get the most difficult ones. Whereas coming up as a magistrate, you're able to ease into it. As a judge, you have to be on top of it immediately.
So you're prepared then.
I am 100% prepared because, like I said, not only based on my in-court experience, but also the whole administrative side of being a judge, which is something I don't think most people think about when you're dealing with $1 million budgets and things like that. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made about those things and about the policies and the procedures and the programs that you have in the court and developing and all those things. I know about that side, and I'm the only candidate that knows about that side of the court.
All right. Well, we wish you luck on November 5th, and thank you so much.
Thank you.